Hello and welcome as today's date comes in that of the completion for the 5th day of December 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets, trades of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management, always job number one. Bitcoin dominance continues to hang in there within the 18 average of highs over the last little while. Over the last 5 days in here as we can see. But overall, the size of these moves just microscopic. The volatility is at a damning low as I look at it as, and it's just as it is. And until it's not, well, it is. Therefore, it is what it is. I'm not going to cover too much more upon it, at least on the dominance part. We'll now move into Bitcoin, but it also continues to stay within the 18 average within today's session. So I'm not going to put much time in today's video, as you already would know by the length of the video. And therefore, what have we had today? It was an up day of 2.68%, and not much of a green size move, but at least 2.68% is not huge. I mean, you look at a traditional market, oh, this could be like a 3% day on the Dow, or even then, the Dow Jones Industrial, which is the stock market indice. This was a day where, of course, it had that failed move breakout. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. I was talking about in the video I was presenting. So really just in this correctionary move, not much more to talk about at the 18 average of lows. I can get the exact numbers. I suppose we have 18 average of lows in at 71.78, 18 average of highs at 75.82. Now on the hourly term time frame, where we are, or how has our market reacted from a particular event? Where are we now? Where have we came from? Where do we have the potential to go? Well, of course, where we came from, a lot of this up and down choppy action, all these over numerous amount or a lot of failed moves here and there. But the most recent one, of course, happened yesterday morning, where price action had this huge gain as it was able to get north or higher of this level of resistance, and phenomenally at that. And having this pullback where it loses this much quickly, that's normal, or that's okay. And then when you have this type of symmetrical stuff on a bullish level, this is what you don't want. At least if it does, if it comes down in here, this higher low part, no, it didn't even do that. Didn't support this. And then all of this looking very, very rough. And then even furthermore, you have this little move in here. You can see that it rallied up, but it rejected it, and well, not for that long, because this period here, so far, this move has been holding, although it's been doing this test now for quite some time. And this test now in here started as it was breaking down at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's now after 10 o'clock at night. This high occurred at 8 o'clock this morning. It was a match of this previous high. So it came down quite lower than you would want. Technically, you can say, well, it's holding and staying above any of this key area. You're like, okay, well, let's just say the 3-hour chart. It held and stayed above the 18 average of lows. But now, since the event, it's just hanging in there within a barely rising that of the 18 average of highs. So we'll just have to wait and see. There's been a few attempts getting it above it since 7 o'clock this morning. And nothing much else going on. Finishing off a little more longer term, at least within the weekly chart, which is seeing this week hang in there on a relatively newly declining 18 average of lows, which had that most recent failed breakout, have a resistance level at a more even recently declining, or the earlier stages of this declining average. Came up to the 18 highs, and after settling in at the lows for a little bit here, decent sized decline, and so far it's just holding and staying in this area, piercing above that level that I mentioned at 63.42. Usually it doesn't do that, and I don't know why, but this exponential Fibonacci numbers that I gotta think might be now greater than 1% of chart people calculate the measure using high divided by low. And this case is to the root of 0.382, and the high is 20,000, the low is 32. So the root square would be 0.382. That's where we'll get a rounded number around 63.40. And I don't know why, but it always seems to be a little bit more in whichever direction that it's going. I look at it as in, if it's something like truly random, like coin flips and stuff like that, and then you give me a sample size of 100, it's going to be close to 50 on each side. Meaning, in this here, if it's going to barely go above or below a line, it should be about 50% on each side. But it doesn't seem to be that way. Why it's important, why I'm just keep on talking about this over the last minute or so, is because it does seem I should be really thinking there's a high probability that this low is not in, and it at least is going to have a small pierce below this line and barely go lower than this, which would be around 6,100, 6,000 area ballpark level. We'll see if that's the case or not. We still got a decent ways to go to even the 18 average of highs, and that's another way of saying that, I mean, it needs a superior move for you to state on a time frame to say, yep, we're ready to get this move back in gear on a bullish level, because, of course, this has been flipping back down to the downside of recent time. I mean, of course, getting above the lows would be, okay, well, neutralizes, it stops the decline, and that's what it does when it gets back above the 18 lows there, if it can get above 8,000, but that's got to be like a 700-point move. That's about 10%, but any single time, these things can have that kind of move up or down at any given time, and yet it's not uncommon for it to happen, and then whichever direction it goes, don't be surprised if it does that little sideways type of action where it has that move. Now, and here you have that sideways move. And it just, well, granted, sometimes what it will do is it goes up like this, and then it will just have a day where for the rest of the day it'll be something like, maybe like that. In that level there, that's what I'm referring to as far as, because this wasn't a good example, but where it has a big move either up or down and then just goes sideways. So at any given time, and for what it's worth, a lot of times that's just, I mean, you could have any big buyer come in at any point and be like Dwayne Johnston or some Oprah Winfrey decide, yeah, I'm going to put a little bit, and any big buyer could just, and this is nothing for some people. It can happen at any given time, and that's the best part about this, is it's a free market, and so far things seem to be doing fine when I look at this on the more longer term, and this when I look at the monthly. But I would be very, very concerned if I see this thing unable to hold and stay above 6,000 for a good period of time, or if it even breaks down below 45. I'd be very, very concerned on the long-term level. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.